Did you know that recruiters spend an average of 6 seconds scanning a resume before deciding if it's worth reading? 6 seconds. That's all you have to get an impression. Now imagine applying for jobs across different countries and continents, each with its own expectations for resumes. What works in one country might not even get noticed in another. I've been there, adapting my resume for roles in South Africa, Europe, North America, constantly refining it to stand out in different markets. Today, if you have this problem, I'm here to fix it. You learn how to create a resume that gets noticed using resume templates, gets read, and gets you interviews, no matter where you're applying. I'm Dr. Polan Kantwe. This is another episode of Molo Molo African Tech Stories. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Molo Molo African Tech Stories. If you're struggling with crafting the perfect resume, this episode is for you. By the end of this episode, we'll share 5 powerful tools to get templates into standout resumes, whether you're a fresh graduate or an experienced engineer. Now, throughout my journey of applying for roles on multiple continents, I've learned that resume building is not a one-size-fits-all process, right? It's got many layers, but what got me interviews, specifically in Germany and in Asia and other countries, wasn't the same as potentially an interview in the US or in South Africa even. You need to be adaptive, strategic, and always improving. So today is all about getting into the actual nitty-gritties of the different tools that I believe can help you and I've used before. So the first one will be surprising, which is the good old Microsoft Word. If you don't know, you are able to go online and directly go to Microsoft 365 or directly Google Microsoft.com, and you will find specific resumes. What I like about Microsoft Word is the following, right? Word is a very classic powerhouse. Essentially, it's simple, accessible. It is something that can, if used correctly, can really bring a lot of value. But here's the mistake most people make: they treat it like a blank sheet of paper instead of a structured document. When I applied for some jobs, the expectation was a clean, structured resume, depending on the outcome, specifically North American countries. I had to emphasize impact, driven bullet points, and keywords to pass through specific algorithms called applicant tracking systems, ATS, which in my view is quite important to know. So when using Microsoft Word, a couple of things you need to think about, and let's have a look. You need to think about essentially, very clear headings, right? If I were to open a template like this, for example, you see it's very clean. It gives you a sense of how it can be used. There's another one that is very nice. And what you can essentially do is have the wordings very clear and concise, but more importantly, have a tool that you already know that allows you to do exactly that. Now, why is it important? Because, keeping bullet points short, essentially giving exact to the point what you've been working on gives a sense of, that it's structured and it is straight to the point, organized, and effective. This is quite important, but then again, it is quite a normal tool that most people that I've seen in terms of CVs and resumes use. Now, let's look at tool number 2, and it will surprise you. Tool number 2 is PowerPoint. Yes, I said it, PowerPoint. And what is quite interesting with PowerPoint, unlike Microsoft Word, if I were to, for example, open up the specific one, which is again very simple, very structured, is I've opened it up here, is that it gives you the ability to use all sorts of figures and images, and you can do really good, kind of insert of drawings and so forth. So it gives you a lot of shapes and sizes of how you can really beautify your resume. But more importantly, it also allows you to directly have different aspects of your resume directly in one PowerPoint, which is really amazing. I mean, you can do that in Word, but I think that the major factor here is that you can definitely give some level of indication of the different versions of your PowerPoint. Now, that is quite important because, in case you have different markets that you're trying to access, different version of a resume is actually quite important. So why is this important? So let's just think about this now. If you need a visually compelling resume, PowerPoint definitely arranges the content in a structured but yet creative way. So for startups, tech startups, or creative industries like industrial engineering and so forth, this is a well-designed and one-pager PowerPoint can really make a difference. And more importantly, the resume will stand out, whether it is for different types of tech jobs like tech digital marketing, or overall just UI, interface management roles for engineers. The visual aspect of the layout makes a really strong impression. So let's just think about kind of the obvious, right? The slides are essentially sections, so you need to really make sure that the hierarchy is clear. The information info stands out. You can export as a PDF, for example. If I were to go back, you can definitely export as a PDF, which allows you to essentially go from having this as just a normal PowerPoint, and depending how you want to share it, you can download it as a PDF or export it as images. So you can really go wild in terms of how do you want to share that information, and all maintaining one singular source. So it is important to understand that it is an interesting tool to use, but also it is quite something that is simple, just like Microsoft Word, and allows you to be creative at the same time. Now, let's take a bit of an interlude because we are talking about tech concepts, and we've got something called tech concepts explained badly, right? So we essentially imagine there's a concept called buffer overflow. Do you know what buffer overflow is? Well, neither did I. Okay, so when you're, let's just say you're serving rice, okay? For some of us who love food, and most Africans do, and if you don't, then close your ears. And you keep piling up, right, rice on top of a plate, and it starts spilling off, right? That's essentially buffer overflow. In computing, it's when a program writes too much data over, and there's a memory leak, essentially causing errors and security vulnerabilities. Now, what does that mean in resumes? That's when you overload your CV with way too much information. You've got 10 pages of detail about every project since high school. Congratulations. You've just crashed your recruiter's brain even before he gave you a chance to even take to the next step. Don't do that, right? Please make sure that you really think about having your resume being concise and straight to the point. Now, tool number 3, surprising surprise, is Canva. Now, some of you don't know Canva, which is quite disappointing. If you're a tech, Canva is definitely your number one tool for really showing the creative side. So Canva allows one not only to do graphic design, but also allows one to do CVs. Now, this is the amazing part. In Canva, you get beautiful, beautiful outlines of CVs. And unlike Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, it really gives a really clean sense, right? It's a professional, polished looking resume. It without being, without you having being a graphic designer, it really is your best friend. Depending on where you're applying, I think having a visually appealing could really stand out, especially when you don't have a lot of experience and you want that pop to come out when it comes to who you are and your picture, and have a professional picture. Having these types of designs, which Word or PowerPoint cannot really give you, really throws you into the mix of the best candidates visually from the first go. Now, that is quite important because when you don't have experience, when you don't have experience and you feel that there's not a lot to put into your CV or resume, visually appealing and well-structured resume stands out above anything else. Remember, you have 6 seconds to give a visual impression to the next recruiter. So it's all about your personal brand. So in terms of tips, use pre-made templates. Like I said, there are quite a few that you can look out for. I mean, of course, some of them are free, some of them are paid, depending on your paid. I will recommend at least getting the paid version for at least a month, and then you can download as many free templates or paid templates, premium templates as you want, and then then kind of close off the premium without paying. So there is a little loophole there. So it looks really awesome, right? I mean, for me, this is amazing when I see this. It looks really clean, and everything is well done for you. I mean, if I were to open up this template, it looks really nice, right? It's something that gives you complete control over the different sides. It is one resume, one pager. You change the picture to whatever you want. You can change the background, do all sorts of things with it. Canva is definitely a graphic designer, creative engineer, or tech guy stream. So it is quite easy to read. When you think about it, you don't sacrifice clarity for fancy designs, and that's something that, in my view, can go a long way. Okay, tool number 4. We have something that I've hardly used, but I think it looks really cool, and it's called Resume.io. Resume.io is something that gives you some level of AI-based inputs. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're able to essentially, with command prompt and with loading up data from different sites like LinkedIn, you're able to build up your resume, which is quite interesting. Now, I have an account here, and what I want to show you is essentially if you were to, kind of open up your, just a normal resume, what do you see here all of a sudden? Even though I say engineering intern, I'm definitely not an engineer intern, but in any case, this is just for showcasing. What you see here is you see kind of the ability to write, but also directly change the template or directly change the layout to suit the needs that you need. So essentially what you can have is you can have your text directly implicated towards a specific job, and you don't have to worry about the template because it's done using AI. This is quite interesting because a lot of the heavy lifting is done for you, and the only thing you really need to worry about is being as accurate and as explicit as possible in the command prompts that generates that specific template. So it's very quick, and it really allows you to take the notice of AI. Now, the one thing that should be said is that when you apply for corporate jobs and you want to pass the filtering algorithms, it is quite crucial to be accurate. It is quite crucial to be concise, and to optimize for right keywords. So Resume.io really helps in having pre-optimized resume templates, helps you with keyword optimization. So you really hone in on the content as so much, not so much as the whole visual aspect, because that's done for you. So that you're able to really zone in on making sure that you really get noticed, specifically when it comes to keywords. So it lets you generate clean, modern resumes in minutes, right? So you can think about different things that you can do with it, and that's quite important. Now, this is quite interesting because we get into a segue, and I thought I should bring up something that might be interesting to some of you. There was this week. There was the African Tech Summit. Now in Molo Molo, we're going to be taking a little more care into, what's happening around the continent in terms of tech and African involvement. And the African Tech Summit is something that uh, is hosted, I believe, every single year, and it is something that allows one to engage but also follow the different things that are happening around the continent in terms of tech. So the one thing that what does it matter? It matters because it allows you to leverage in your resume the fact that you are able to follow, the type of jobs that are out there on the continent. Why is that important? Because essentially those are companies that are being acknowledged, right? Depending on the awards, whether it is regarding fintech or regarding agri-tech or regarding edutech, which is educational tech. These are companies that are up and coming and could be your next job prospect. So these events bring together top industry leaders, hiring managers, innovators, and if you are job hunting, then they offer just networking, right? Essentially, they shape your present yourself on paper and allows you to get interviews. So attending any or following any of these really upgrades your resume and job search, gives you insights and in demand skills so you can really see what should go into your resume, and allows you to see industry trends in terms of this is, for example, this was Ikukasa Technology Solutions. It is South African, and they do amazing work when it comes to educating not only kids out of school, but also young tech professionals who want to grow into different skills, and they get recognized through certification. Amazing, amazing work, and that's why they've been recognized in this conference hosted in Nairobi, Kenya. So, what does that even mean, right? What does it all mean? I think when imagine adding to your resume that you've attended the African Tech Summit or you've been following and getting insights and into AI driven embedded systems, or the impact of technology on agriculture and so forth. What it does, it gives the recruiter a sense that not only are you interested in your industry, you know about your industry, but you also are willing to gain insights from the industry. You've allowed yourself to really go through a sense of renewal in terms of mindset, that you are part of the industry and not just looking for a job. So that instantly positions yourself as someone who wants to stay ahead of industry trends, and that gives you an edge for sure, way above anybody else who just is looking for another job. So the fifth and final tool, and that is Overleaf. Overleaf is something that, let me just say it like this. So if you're an engineer and you are a coder and you have you know what a GitHub account is, Overleaf is your friend. It uses a language called LaTeX, and LaTeX allows one to just come alive, so to speak, come alive. And this brings a sense of amazing control over the things that you want to publish in a very beautiful, clean, but incredibly professional way, specifically for academics and technical professionals in general. So, what does that mean? It means LaTeX is the language that is used. If you do not know, again, this was a perfect opportunity to learn a new language, which is mainly used for journal articles, academic papers, but also CVs and resumes. The one thing that I love about LaTeX is just the amount of control you have. For example, you have this beautiful resume, which gives you a very interesting aspect to your resume, which is a day of my life. And that gives the a very fresh outlook on who you are, what do you like doing, what do you spend the day doing, but also what kind of person you are in relations to everything else, specifically your strengths, your experience, and your education. This is an amazing, and what it does, it allows you to directly change, right, the amount of time you spend on each activity, and with that in mind gives you a complete control over how your resume would look like going forward. Now, this is amazing because what it tells you is that, when I applied for my aerospace engineering role, structure and being precise made all the difference. Okay. It gives you a perfectly formatted resume that is consistent in styling. It's ideal for engineers, researchers. Like I said, the LaTeX language is really structured with no weird spacing or layout issues. Incredible. Just, I mean, that's why academics use it and we love it so much. So if you're applying for engineering firms, academia, this would be directly noticed and will give you an edge. But more importantly, it gives you a chance to also use that as a skill in your resume. So you get 2 for 1. So, what does that mean? So, how does you feel about what I've said today? Do you have any more examples? Please share in the comments below that comes with this video. If you want to see more examples or more tools in action, please follow Molo Molo Tech Studios, and we can even go through a step-by-step guide in how we can help your resume. So, in summary, here's a quick recap of today's resume building strategies. There's Word, a structured go-to option for professional resumes, PowerPoint, where you want to bring a bit of creativity, and a visual one-page resume which stands out above the rest. Canva, it's an easy-to-use design tool for polished and modern resumes. Resume Resume.io, which is AI powered, which allows you to really be keyword specific and really follow a specific way of keeping your content separate from the creative side of things. And then you have Overleaf, the best choice for engineers, in my view, researchers, and technical professionals when it comes to accuracy and really showcasing your report writing and your content writing skills, given the what LaTeX is able to give you. So your resume isn't just a list of experiences. It's your story, it's your brand, it's your first impression. Use these tools wisely and you'll stand out in any job market. For more resumes, tips, and templates, like I said, follow us on with the links that comes with this video, and I'm pretty sure you will be noticed, and we'll celebrate with you in being the next hire. I'm Dr. Polan Kantwe. This is another episode of Molo Molo African Tech Stories. Until next time, ciao.